I mean, to that point, Ken, the FBI director tweeted out yesterday that a suspect was in custody hours after the shooting. As a news conference was happening with conflicting information, law enforcement, we know, ultimately detained two men yesterday and then released them, saying they had no ties to the shooter. They named those two people that they cleared. Have we heard if the DOJ or FBI plans to change how communication is handled today?
Anna, the current and former FBI officials I've been talking to about this episode last night are frankly calling it an embarrassment, and they're saying this should never happen. And yes, to answer your question, the FBI does appear to have changed the way it's communicated in the sense that the FBI director is no longer freelance tweeting. He is essentially posting the official statements that appear to be carefully vetted joint statements between the FBI and the Utah Department of Public Safety, and they're sort of carefully putting out exactly what they know and trying not to go beyond that. But look, you know, Kash Patel inexplicably essentially said that they had the guy and then had to retract that and has not explained, nor has the FBI explained, how that mistake happened. That was an embarrassment in the annals of the FBI, and it's not something that ever should happen.
Evie, your thoughts on how communication has been handled by these different agencies, people being named, implied they're suspects, then cleared?
So here's the thing with the agencies. There's so much pressure now to give information, and they're trying to get ahead. And what they're dealing with, before you can put information out there and take your time, there were no other avenues for people to share information. But now with social media, you've got everybody chiming in, saying suspects, saying names, and what happens is there's a lot of confusion. You want to give information, you think you have it, and then you don't. So I do think there should be a slow down process, going back to the traditional way of, I'm not going to speak till I know for sure. I can understand how those things happen, because often, and you know what, I don't want to say anything negative about the director. He may have been told that we have them in custody, or we have the shooter in custody. And this happens where police think, hey, we've got it. And then it turns out, oh, no, we don't. And that's why often you always see a delay in press conferences, a delay in statements being put out, even though they have the information.
Evie, we've seen quite a few recent acts of gun violence against political figures, and we're going to delve deeper into that specifically later this hour. But what can law enforcement do to prevent another incident like this when the threat level seems so high right now?
So this is completely different. I don't equate, I've heard people talk about equating this to the assassination of Butler or political figures. They're politicians. This isn't that. We've entered a whole other space where anybody who's outspoken or anybody who's a public figure, now you're fair game. And this is everybody. This is people who go on air. This is people on social media. People have YouTube channels where now you've made those people a target. And so I think we are in a whole other space, a very dangerous space here, where we're going to be seeing more and more people become brazen. They copy, and they think this person did it, I can do it. Also, yes, there's divisiveness and rhetoric. Even going on social media, I'm trying to, sift through the stuff, get through the news, and there's so much noise and so much negativity. It's really, really adding to the issues. This is becoming a highly emotional thing. So I think we're going to have significant issues moving forward.
Evie Poumpouras, you raise a concern I think so many of us have, as we've already seen what seems like an overwhelming amount of violence. Thank you for joining us, Ken Delaney, and appreciate your reporting as always, my friend.